nuclear warhead will detonate high above the Earth's surface. And people on the ground will not feel a thing.
Hi everybody, today is September 3rd, 2013. Israel, U.S. carry out joint missile tests in the Mediterranean. Russia had detected the launch of 2 ballistic objects towards the sea. Russia media reported earlier. U.S. Navy earlier denied having any involvement in the launch. What do you expect them to say? Israel and the U.S. carried out a missile test in the Mediterranean Sea on Tuesday, Israel's defense ministry said in a statement, amid rising tensions in the region over the Syrian crisis. The confirmation came after morning reports indicated that Russia had detected 2 ballistic objects launched toward the eastern Mediterranean from the central part of the same, and the U.S. denial that its Navy had not been involved. The Arrow 3 missile defense system was tested with a Sparrow missile, which simulates a ballistic missile, and is launched from a plane during the exercise. The exercise was carried out from an Israeli Air Force base in central Israel, the Defense Ministry said in a statement. The Defense Ministry's statement contradicted those made earlier Tuesday by a spokesman for the U.S. Navy European headquarters, who said it had not fired any missiles from ships in the Mediterranean. Sounds like a lot of double talk. No missiles were fired from U.S. ships in the Mediterranean, the spokesman said. He had no further comment. The projectiles fell into the sea, a source in Damascus was quoted as saying by the state-run Russian news agency RIA. Russia's embassy in Syria said there was no sign of a missile attack or explosion in Damascus, according to the Itar-Tash news agency. A Damascus resident told RIA he hadn't heard anything that could indicate a strike on the capital had taken place. Syria's early warning radar system did not detect any missile landing on Syrian territory either, according to a Syrian security source quoted by Lebanon's Al-Manar television on Tuesday. The Interfax news agency quoted a ministry spokesman as saying the launch was detected at 10:16 a.m. Moscow time by an early warning radar station in Amazar near the Black Sea, which is designed to detect missiles from Europe and Iran. The trajectory of these objects goes from the center part of the Mediterranean Sea towards the eastern part of the Mediterranean Sea. Interfax quoted the ministry spokesman as saying, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu had informed President Vladimir Putin of the launch. The ministry official had earlier criticized the United States for deploying warships in the Mediterranean close to Syria. A show of force, that's for sure. Alright, bookmark my site. I'll keep you up to date. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.
Fox News alert now on the new developments in Israel's security situation. We have new video, this just in, from Israel's defense ministry, and it shows a missile being fired from a plane over the Mediterranean Sea. The country successfully testing its Arrow 2 missile defense system that's meant to intercept weapons launched from Iran. Fox's Leland Bittert is live in Jerusalem. Tell us the latest, Leland.
Allie, what this was a successful test of the radar that tracked the missile from the F-15. It's incredible technology. Show you why it's so important. Take a look at the map. The missile was fired about 1,000 miles, quote, deep in the Mediterranean towards Israel. 1,000 miles to the other side of Israel is Iran, and obviously there's a big threat of missiles coming in from Iran. So this was a test like what would happen in a real war situation. The video that we have from the Israeli Defense Forces shows this ballistic missile being fired off of an F-15 and then traced by the radar system. The Arrow missile system is much like Star Wars in the sense that a ground-based missile would then fire off and blow this incoming missile up. So far, the U.S. has helped the Israelis to more than $200 million worth of technology to try to help them develop this system, and they've had 14 successful interceptions. This new radar, though, provides an extra layer of security and accuracy as they try to track multiple inbound missiles. Why is that so important? Well, as you know, that Israel has talked a lot about blowing up Iran's nuclear program and attacking it. Iran's only way of retaliation is the Shahab-3 missile, and they have about 300 of them that could be aimed at the population centers here in Israel. The only thing to protect Israel would be this Arrow missile system that now has had yet another successful test. And I checked with a source who's very close to the defense community here in Israel. He said this is no coincidence that this test happened right now, and certainly no coincidence that the Israelis are being so public about it being successful. Not only do they want to reassure their own population, a lot of people who are very fearful about Iranian counterattack if Israel does choose to attack, but they also want to let the Iranians know that we have something to counter all your missiles if you do indeed decide to send them to places like Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Beersheba, where there are millions of Israelis that could be killed if Iran launched a massive attack. Back to you.